Welcome back. We're going to talk now about managing officers for your district, charge, or church in UnityWeb. It's also known as leadership assignments. The two terms are interchangeable. To begin, go ahead and log on in to UnityWeb and navigate to the entity, i.e. the district, charge, or church, that you want to work with. In this case, I'll pick a church. On the profile screen, you'll see a leadership link. The one for a church says church leadership. The one for a charge says charge leadership. And oddly enough, the one for a district says district leadership. Go ahead and give that a click. The leadership page pops up, gives you a list of all current leadership for the entity. The position will be shown, the officer, if one is assigned, is shown. And then these are new columns. You'll see that there's a begin date and end date. That's something we're tracking that's new to UnityWeb. We track the beginning and end date of all leadership assignments. In some cases, obviously, the end date can be open-ended. It can have no end date if that's how it is. This has several different advantages. We can build a comprehensive history that you can see in the system, and also when new officers are voted in, you can enter them in preemptively, and you don't have to wait until the exact point their term starts to enter them into the system. It helps a lot with scheduling, that sort of thing. At the far right, you'll see that there's a action link to either edit the current assignment or add a new one. This table is searchable. You can see it has several different pages. You'll notice that there's a lot of blanks here. That's not uncommon in a real church, even though this is a sample record. This list is quite literally exhaustive. It includes every position to which we might be able to do every standardized position in GCFA's catalog. So to search, let's say I want to search for a treasurer. Start typing the list. You could look for children's ministries, things like so. All right, to start with, I'm going to add a treasurer. So I type in here. I find that I have no treasurer, so I'm going to add a new treasurer. When you start a new officer assignment, you can see that we have an effective date. This is a required field. We have to say when their term begins. So I'm going to say it starts November 1st. Then it asks who. So it's asking me to select. Now this list, which is a short drop-down list for our sample set, yours is probably going to be much longer, is an alphabetized list of all persons associated with the church, as well as a link at the bottom to add a new person. I can pick, let's say I'm going to go ahead and pick John Baker. It pulls up the list and it gives me the option to edit their contact information. If I choose somebody, for instance the pastor here, that has a UnityWeb account, it shows me their contact information, but it indicates that this person has their own UnityWeb account. That is to say, they can log in themselves. So while I'll show their contact information for posterity, if you want to change that contact information, they need to go ahead and log in to edit their own contact information. I'll pick John Baker here and hit submit. Now, if I search for treasurer, you'll see I have a John Baker. Okay, so let's talk about pre-existing officers. Let's say Bob Haynes here, that his term on the administrative board is coming to an end, or I need to make some other such change to his record. I'd go ahead and click the edit button. And it pops up an action menu right here, giving me all the different possibilities I can do to edit this one. I can choose to end his current leadership assignment, in which case I specify a date at which point his term ends, and that's that. There's a little bit of a shortcut here to replace the officer. That is basically kind of an end and an add at the same time. I can pick the effective date that their term ends, and I can pick the new officer that starts the day after. For somebody who does not have a UnityWeb account like Bob, I can merely come in here and edit their contact information if that's the only change I need to make. I have the option to edit the termination dates, or the term dates, begin date and the end date. For instance, if I got the start date wrong, I can fix that, or if I need to set an end date. Keep in mind, setting an end date here is the same as essentially ending their leadership assignment. And then last option, and hopefully it's not used too often, is to delete the record. Now, when a person comes off leadership, I really don't recommend you delete their record. This is only in case of an error being made, where the record should never have existed in the first place. And you can see it gives you some similarly standard language there. It says, are you sure you wish to delete it? And it requires you to type in the word yes, like so, in order to actually submit to delete the record. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and replace the officer, and I'm going to replace them in advance. We just had our charge conference, for example, and we voted in new officers beginning January 1st. And I'm going to pick a new person. You can see, let's see here, I'll do William, I don't know, Smith. Smith's a good name. Maybe Will Smith at, let's say, gmail.com. I just realized there's a celebrity by that name. We'll make this a junior so we're not confused about that one. There you go. You type in their home phone. It's highly recommended that they have at least an email address. You can type in their address. So I'll type in an address. Like so. Now you can see that Bob Haynes still shows his current leadership, as indeed he is still current. This is we're still prior to December 31st, 2022, as of the recording of this video. But you'll notice that a new list pops up down here showing leadership, future leadership. And you can see that I have all the same options here as well. This will show any future leadership positions popping up, whereas this still maintains the current leadership. Now, there are certain circumstances where you may have more than one person that occupies a leadership position at a time. You'll notice that I only have one row per leadership position. It's fairly common to have two co-chairs of a given board. If you have multiple clergy assigned to your charge, you're going to have multiple lay annual conference members. At the district level, there are, of course, multiple district at-large annual conference members. That's where this button here comes in. You can add a new leadership position this way, in which case you can select. I'm going to go ahead and select Administrative Board Chair, indicating I have two co-chairs because there's already a board chair on my list. And I'll say this person started, let's say August. And I'm going to pick, I'll pick a new person again, just to make sure I don't override things. Let's see here, Sarah Dowdy. As you can see, now I show two administrative board chairs, each with their own independent start date and no end date. The last function I want to show you on this page is the button to view and print your current roster. It does exactly what it says. Pulls up a listing of your current leadership for you to be able to print. Notice it doesn't show any of the blanks, just merely the current leadership positions that are filled. And that's it. Thanks so much for your time. Have a wonderful day.